Good evening. It's the Brushfire Mind because it's Sunday night and we're 3 minutes late. It is that. All right, so we're going to see how we do tonight. Y'all may have noticed that the thumbnail didn't update. We're having some internet issues over here. I don't know what's going on with that. Even my damn TV's running slow. But here's hoping. So here's what we're talking about tonight. We're going to talk about free speech in general, why it's important, and why it's on our minds this week. Hopefully y'all have been following the news and you know that there was a walkout for gun suppression by students across this country. And in the UK, Lauren Southern and Brittany Pettibone, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the boyfriend's name. It's like Michael Sellner or something. He's just not as pretty as Brittany and Lauren. So, plus he's a total foreigner. Anywho, we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna get into a little bit about free speech, a little bit about the Second Amendment tonight. But that's for you. That's not for them. So what happened? All right. Y'all remember the Parkland shooting? And a bunch of people died. 17 students and teachers died. And of course, it's all because of guns, evil guns. Because an AR-15 went stalking down that hallway, just randomly murdering people. Because as we all know, AR-15s, if left to their own devices, actually subsist on a diet of children. They eat children. That's just what they do, right?
Yeah, obviously.
So, no. Guns don't kill people. A gun without a trigger puller isn't even a weapon. Okay, so time to turn the watch off. Because apparently I'm getting 2-hour-old text messages from the wife. Oh, and we already lost a viewer. Sorry, guys. And I see the yellow bar there. Looks like our stream is slowing down on us a little bit, but we're going to keep plugging on. Anyway, so Brittany Pettibone and Lauren Southern are conservative commentators. It seems like we just made a sudden and drastic switch, doesn't it?
Does.
But we didn't. Students walked out of schools to demand Congress take action and strip away Second Amendment rights. Sounds like we just made a drastic switch. But we didn't. So, Lauren Southern has been covering the massacre of white farmers in South Africa lately. And as it happens, a little over a week ago, she was flying into London from Cape Town, South Africa, and was detained, incarcerated for 3 days, and then deported. Literally for the crime of being right-wing. I'm not pulling up visual aids tonight. I'm running a little behind, so I didn't get them on the show billet. But the letter that she received from Home Office from the UK states in no uncertain terms that the British government, under their terrorism prevention laws, views her as a threat to public safety. This is a 23-year-old little blonde chick who flies around the world and does journalism about black bloc terrorism, about Antifa terrorism, about ethnic cleansing in South Africa, where they're murdering white people on farms and killing the farmland in the process. She was maced by Antifa during the Trump campaign. I mean, she's solidly on the right. She's frankly, she's a little more alt-right than I tend to lean, but smart chick. Her content's pretty solid most of the time. But I mean, we're talking about her being detained and deported for her political beliefs, not for any action that she's taken, not for any threat she's made. She's not dangerous. She's literally 23-year-old little blonde chick, probably weighs $115 soaking wet. And I mean, the greatest threat she poses to anybody is she's a distraction. Let's be real. Brittany Pettibone, kind of the same kind of. She's basically the brunette Lawrence Southern. Now, in Brittany Pettibone's letter from the Home Office that she got when she was detained and deported, it accuses her of being a right wing, which apparently is a crime. They were they were deported for wrongthink. So, in Brittany Pettibone's letter, it also mentions that she was supposed to have she was there to do an interview with Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robbins or Tommy Robbins. I think it's Robinson.
Robinson, yeah.
Okay, so you know who he is?
No, I just watched the video.
Oh, okay, that's right.
15 minutes ago.
So you don't know who Tommy Robinson is?
I do not.
Okay, Tommy Robinson. I haven't followed him as much as Lawrence Southern, and frankly, I hadn't even heard of Brittany Pettibone. I don't think until this whole controversy. Tommy Robinson is the leader of what is called a white identitarian group, but they're not. One might argue that they're white nationalists. And I forget the name of the group that he's with now. He founded a group that went too far white nationalist for his taste. But the original foundation of the group that Tommy Robinson left and the one that he runs now is basically his town. And I apologize for not knowing more about Tommy Robinson for this conversation. But basically, the town he's from has been overrun with Muslims, and the rape gangs, the vandalism, the robberies are an incredible problem, not just because they're happening in such drastic numbers, but because the local authorities aren't doing anything about it. They're just allowing it to happen. This week also saw the breaking of the story about the Muslim grooming gangs in the UK. Now, how is that related? Well, part of what Lawrence Southern was kicked out for is when she was in France, she was handing out these leaflets, these rainbow leaflets that said, Allah is gay. Edgy, okay. Insulting to a particular religion, sure. Hate speech? We should have a conversation about hate speech. Because apparently there are people out there that think that there's this thing that's called hate speech. And that legislation should prevent that utterance. Am I confused? Am I missing something here? Did the First Amendment get repealed? Now, before you answer that, obviously I know that the UK does not have a constitution in the way that we do in the US. They do not have the First Amendment. There is not freedom of speech in Europe. In fact, outside of the United States, there is no guaranteed freedom of speech. That's not an opinion that I hold because my more right-wing views are less popular outside of the United States. No, it is literally the case that government-sanctioned censorship is a true reality globally. It is not supposed to be under the law here. And quite technically speaking, government censorship does not happen in the United States. Very, very technically speaking. And government censorship is forbidden by the First Amendment, of course. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom to speak, the freedom of the press, freedom of assembly. Uh-oh.